All right. So what did I leave off on? Oh, the last one that I had said was the Bengals Buccaneers. The next one, Bears 24, Jets 10. The Jets gave up 180 rushing yards.
Wasn't a great performance.
Yeah, that was...
50 of them went to Trubisky.
Yeah, that was not a good game. You'd think with Mac out that the Jets would, think, oh, hey, we have a chance here. Let's take advantage. Let's play the game. But our offense is just so decimated that there's just nothing that they can do. Darnold actually didn't play badly. He played pretty well, especially for a rookie QB. But he's got a shell of a receiving core. No Powell, hurt line. So it's just like our offense goes out there. It's just like that nothing good is going to happen. Then the defense just can't hold on, and they gashed us pretty hard on some big plays. Someone forgot their assignment in the one of the first
screen
plays for Cohen's long touchdown.
The Jets.
So this is just it's a combination of injuries and I again think that the coaching is an issue, and I think this should be Bull's final season with the Jets, and maybe.
With the Jets or as head coach?
Huh?
With the Jets or as the head coach?
As head coach at minimum. I wouldn't mind him being the DC, but I don't want him as the head coach.
Yeah, so a couple of problems that I noticed. Isaiah Crowell had 13 carries, only got 25 yards.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's not very good. The defense, if they're not taking the ball away, they're not winning.
They need to create turnovers.
Yeah, and they didn't get any turnovers. Darnold, 153 yards, a touchdown. Trubisky, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Better showing out of Darnold in the cold, though. That's a positive to take away, because the cold and the wind in New York looked like it had some effect to him last week. But
I just think it was a bad game. I mean, it's not like he's born and raised in Cali. He went to school there, but he's a Midwestern kid, so he's used to some cold.
Right, but I mean, he spent a lot of years out in the West, and you didn't know how long he was going to take to get comfortable in that. And it's clear he doesn't have a problem with doing it, so that's just one less worry you have to think with him.
Think about the week before when they played the Vikings. It was awful. The wind was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So that prepared him right there.
Yeah, typically you don't get great wind there either. So, yeah. Promise from him. He didn't make any mistakes. He needed a couple more things to break his way, and the running game didn't do him any favors.
I mean, he had a couple of boneheaded plays, but it wasn't so bad because he didn't turn the ball over.
No, it's not going to...
Yeah.
You can make mistakes. He didn't make any mistakes that cost them the game.
No, I think there were 2 that I had seen when I was watching highlights. There was a play that he hit a wide receiver going over the middle and just completely missed a streaking receiver uncovered going down the sideline. Like, he's a rookie, and he probably had 2 seconds and didn't see it. It happens. But
touch will come.
Yeah. So,
I like how Kentucky's ahead of Ohio State in these rankings, and they have a 0.9% chance of making the playoffs, and then they flip over to Ohio State, and it's like 25% chance. It's like, oh, these make sense.
Kentucky, God.
Anyway, I just thought that was it didn't
ridiculous.
Hit my eye right.
No, it's stupid. Do you want the next game? The best defense in the NFL lost 36-21. Apparently, they're not the best defense in the NFL there in Baltimore, as the Panthers took care of them pretty easily. Colts beat the Raiders by what's not as much as it looks. It was 42-28. That looks bad, But it's only 14 points. It's 2 touchdowns.
Right. And actually, I mean, Derek Carr actually looked pretty decent in that game. It was just...
Yeah, he had all 4 touchdowns. He threw 3 and ran in the 4th.
Did he cry?
Right, so I mean, he's trying to do whatever he can for that team, but that defense is decimated.
Yeah, I think he answered his critics. Anyone saying like, "Oh, he's a crybaby" or anything like that, I think he just said, up yours.
Yeah, he's like, to hell with this. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to try and win. They're not going to be blaming me anymore. If we lose, it's someone else's fault.
Right.
Yeah. So next game, we had Cardinals 18, 49ers 15. Josh Rosen throws 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. CJ Beathard, 190 yards, 1 touchdown. Not bad.
Yeah, that was just a not very good game.
Yeah. What was a very good game, Rams 29, Packers 27.
And why Tom Montgomery got traded.
Yes! Yeah, so for those of you who didn't see it, Ty Montgomery could have just kept the ball in the end zone after the kickoff.
With 2 minutes left and given it to potentially the most clutch quarterback of all time.
Of all time.
If it's 2 minutes left in the game and the game is within 7 points, I will choose Aaron Rodgers every time.
The game could be within 14 points. I don't feel comfortable. If
Aaron Rodgers is on the other
If
side?
Aaron Rodgers is the other side, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I don't feel comfortable with a 2-touchdown lead.
But this jackass takes it out of the fucking end zone just to get fumbled, and now all they have to do... Todd Gurley ran up the middle, stopped running at the 10-yard line, let people tackle him, landed on the 4 so they could kneel out and walk away.
Asshole.
He could have ran into the end zone. Actually...
I would have won my fantasy league, or my fantasy week, if the asshole had done that.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Oh, God.
My rant is going to be partly what actually... And I hate Matthew Berry, but I agree with his statement.
We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
We only have a couple of games left. Saints take care of the Vikings 30-20, and the Bills played a hell of a 3 quarters.
I want to talk about that Saints game real quick because man, their defense was fantastic. It was just, Breeze barely had to do anything. He threw for 120 yards.
Yeah.
And they still won handily. And the Vikings are a good team. Thielen had an unfortunate fumble for the first time all season, I think. That really cost them. And then, the Vikings were the Saints were just capitalizing on everything. Kamara feasted.
Adam Thielen, 8 straight 100-yard games.
Yeah, very impressive.
So, that's good. We like Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been a fan of Adam Thielen. Not going to complain there.
Yeah. So, those are the NFL scores.
Do you want to run down anything in college? I don't have anything to say about college this week. I didn't get a chance to watch. I was down in Connecticut, and my team wasn't playing, so...
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, my team didn't play either, strangely.
Huh.
Oh.
Did your team really have a game, though?
I don't know. I blacked out.
Oh, okay. Then
Yes, they had a game. They lost to Arizona.
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, because that should not have happened.
No.
So no,
Although, I
next
do
season is
remember
now
watching
just
that, because he had Justin Herbert as his quarterback, and I was like, I have a pretty comfortable lead. And I was like, oh, Justin Herbert hasn't gone. They're playing Arizona. My lead may not be that comfortable.
Yeah. But I'll run down the top 25s. If we have time for the scores, I'll get to the scores. But we have bigger fish to fry. We'll get to your rant in just a minute, but first, in order to be an MVP, you have to have the organization you play for try to plan their franchise future around you. And Baker Mayfield has that. This week, the Browns fired their head coach. Hugh Jackson, and offensive coordinator Todd Haley. I bet you're thinking, how does this revolve around Baker Mayfield? Well, one of the big names being thrown around as the potential replacement is Lincoln Riley, his coach at Oklahoma. The team is willing to bring in his old coach to help him succeed.
That's honestly, that would be pretty cool. It would, I'm sure he'd be extremely excited by that. Be a good way for a college coach to transition to the NFL with his with his winning quarterback. That would be very interesting.
You don't get this kind of treatment unless you're an established, accomplished veteran. That is why Baker Mayfield's your 2018-2019 NFL MVP, and not Pat Mahomes or Todd Gurley.
I was gonna say you didn't talk about it before. Why not?
Well, because we decided that there's going to be a real MVP, the SMVP, Super MVP, and that's Baker. And then there's the MVP.
It's a special category?
Yeah, he's above the MVP, the super most valuable player.
Gotcha.
I mean, how many wins has any other Browns quarterback had in the last 2 years? I'm waiting.
You're going to keep waiting.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Tony, Matthew Berry. What's up with Matthew Berry?
Okay, so first of all, I understand the pain and agony of a player not scoring on a touchdown they could have scored, brought the game up 9, even though if they had done it, let's say they go through, the conversion goes through, the team is now up 9. If they do that, you still have a minute and 50-something seconds left. Now, here's the kicker with Gurley's run, okay? The spread closed at 7.5. They had a 2-point lead. That would have brought it to 9. The score opened at 9.5. That means throughout the week there were bets placed at 8, 8.5, 9 itself, all the way down to eventually it getting to the 7.5. So all those people had bets in, and that would have changed. Plus, had Gurley had run that in, the over would have hit in Las Vegas. Because Gurley didn't do this, people were upset. Notably, actually, Vegas. Because Vegas lost a ton of money by doing this. Okay? By him not doing that. So Vegas crapped their pants, and they're unhappy. Now, fantasy owners are also unhappy, and somebody asked Gurley what he thought about the people in Vegas and what he thought about the people in fantasy. He's like, I don't give a damn about fantasy or Vegas. He's like, I care about the win. Okay? And now my problem isn't with the people in Vegas. I get it. I've been there. This happens. It sucks when these things happen. It will frustrate the hell out of you. But I also understand a player taking a knee and running out the clock and guaranteeing a win, even if it's only a 2-point win, rather than have it be 9 points and then give it Aaron Rodgers the effing ball with 1:30 left. I wouldn't want to be in that situation, and taking the knee is the right way to go, so I don't fault Gurley. The problem I have is with fucking people who have Gurley on their fantasy team and are complaining that they could have got another touchdown. Really? You're going to complain. He had over 30 points for you already. You should be on your knees thanking anything that you believe in or any deity that you even got him. There's some people in the first round that got Delvin Cook. There's some people in the first round that got Leonard Fournette. There's some people in the first round who got Devontae Freeman. Okay? There are tons of people with a bunch of running backs who haven't produced shit. And I mean literally not shit. 0 points. And you're complaining
Cook and Bell, so preach.
Yeah, so you're complaining that you didn't get another 6 points out of Le'Veon Bell? Or, I'm sorry, not Le'Veon. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell's another one. Some people drafted him. 0 points. Hasn't even reported to the facility yet. And people are complaining that Gurley doesn't get you another 6 points, which would have put you at 36. Oh, I'm sorry that you have the highest producing fantasy person or back in the entire league. Maybe even the entire player. Not even just backs in the entire league. Not to mention the most consistent. I don't feel bad for any of you fantasy people. Not to mention this is fantasy. This man owes you nothing. For you to complain is ridiculous, and it's an insult to everybody else who doesn't have him. Particularly me, because my dumbass passed on him and accidentally took Melvin Gordon. I wouldn't be bitching.
So I don't remember who it was But there was a
The guy has as many touchdowns as Priest Holmes